I thought I had everything under control until that Tuesday morning when my world started unraveling. "Sarah, can you pick up my dry cleaning today?" David called from the kitchen, already scrolling through his phone. "Sure," I replied, buttering Tommy's toast. "What time will you be home?" "Late. The Morrison case is going to trial next week." Of course it was. Everything was always going to trial, or depositions, or client meetings. I watched my husband of 10 years grab his briefcase and kiss my cheek like I was his secretary. "Bye, Dad," Tommy shouted, but David was already out the door. "Mom, why doesn't Dad ever eat breakfast with us anymore?" Tommy asked, syrup dripping down his chin. I forced a smile. "Daddy's just busy with work, sweetheart." But the truth was, we'd become strangers living in the same house. Our conversations had devolved into logistics. Who's picking up groceries? When's Tommy's soccer practice? Did you pay the electric bill? We were efficient roommates, nothing more. That's why I joined Platinum Fitness. At least that's what I told myself. "Welcome to Platinum. I'm Marcus, and I'll be your trainer today." The man extending his hand had the kind of smile that made me forget I was wearing my old college t-shirt and hadn't done my hair. "Sarah Martinez," I managed, suddenly self-conscious. "Sarah," he repeated, like he was tasting my name. "I can already tell you're going to be my most dedicated client." Something in the way he looked at me made my pulse quicken. When was the last time anyone had looked at me like that? When was the last time David had really seen me? "So what brings you here?" Marcus asked, leading me toward the weights. I need something for myself, you know?" He stopped and turned to face me fully. "I know exactly what you mean. Sometimes we lose ourselves in taking care of everyone else." His eyes held mine for a beat too long, and I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Seen, wanted, alive. "Let's start with some basic movements," Marcus said, his hand briefly touching my shoulder to guide my posture. "Trust me, Sarah. I'm going to help you find exactly what you're looking for." As I drove home that afternoon, I caught myself smiling in the rearview mirror. For the first time in months, I felt like more than just David's wife or Tommy's mother. I should have recognized the warning signs then. I should have known that feeling alive again would come with a price I wasn't prepared to pay. "You're holding back," Marcus said during our third session, his hand lingering on my lower back as he adjusted my form. "I can see it in your eyes. You're capable of so much more." My breath caught. He wasn't just talking about the deadlifts, and we both knew it. "I don't know what you mean," I lied, but my voice came out breathless. "Sure you do." His fingers traced along my spine, ostensibly correcting my posture. "You're stronger than you think, Sarah. You just need someone to remind you." My phone buzzed. "David, working late again. Order takeout for you and Tommy." Marcus glanced at the message. "Let me guess. Husband?" "Yeah. He's a lawyer, always busy." "When's the last time he told you how incredible you are?" The question hit like a physical blow. I couldn't remember. "That's what I thought," Marcus said softly. "A woman like you should be cherished, not taken for granted." After that session, the text started, innocent at first. "Great workout today. Your form is really improving." Then, "Can't stop thinking about your progress. You're stronger than you know." And finally, "Can't wait to see you tomorrow. You light up my entire day." I should have stopped it there. Instead, I found myself lying to David about my gym schedule. "I'm doing extra cardio," I told him one evening as he worked in his laptop at the kitchen table. He mumbled, not looking up. "Good for you." Meanwhile, Marcus and I were talking for hours after our sessions. He told me about his dreams of opening his own fitness studio, his difficult childhood, his ex-girlfriend who didn't understand his ambitions. "Your husband doesn't deserve you," Marcus whispered one evening as we sat in his car in the empty parking lot. The gym had closed an hour ago, but neither of us wanted to leave. "Marcus, I'm serious, Sarah. A woman like you should be worshipped, not ignored." When he kissed me, I felt like I was drowning and being saved at the same time. Every rational thought screamed that this was wrong, but God, it felt so right to be wanted again. "We can't," I whispered against his lips. "Why not? When's the last time he made you feel like this?" I couldn't answer because the truth was never. David had never made me feel electric, dangerous, alive. The affair became my oxygen. We met 3 times a week, sometimes in his apartment, sometimes in the empty yoga studio after hours. Maria Santos, the gym manager, would catch us exchanging lingering looks and shake her head, but she never said anything. "This is crazy," I told Marcus one afternoon as we lay tangled in his sheets. "Crazy good," he murmured, tracing circles on my bare shoulder. "You deserve to feel like this every day." I convinced myself this was about finding myself again, about reclaiming my power. But really, I was just trading one prison for another, one made of guilt and lies, and the constant terror of getting caught. "Mom, you seem happier lately," Tommy said one night as I tucked him into bed. "You're smiling more." My heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. Am I? Yeah. Did something good happen? I kissed his forehead, tasting the salt of my own tears. "Just trying to take better care of myself, baby," he yawned. "Good. I like it when you're happy." After he fell asleep, I sat in his doorway watching Hay, in breathe, thinking about what I was risking. But by morning, I was texting Marcus again. "Sarah, you're glowing. What's going on with you?" Elena asked during our weekly coffee date, studying my face with those sharp prosecutor eyes she'd inherited from law school. "Just the gym routine," I lied smoothly. "Exercise endorphins, you know?" "Bullshit," Elena leaned forward. "I've known you since freshman year. This isn't about exercise. You're acting like a teenager with a crush." My coffee cup trembled in my hands. "Elena, please tell me you're not doing something stupid with that trainer you keep mentioning." "Of course not. He's just helping me get in shape." "Sarah," her voice was deadly serious. "Whatever's going on, stop it, now, before you destroy everything." I wanted to confess everything, the stolen kisses, the afternoon rendezvous, the way Marcus made me feel like the center of the universe. But I couldn't risk it. "There's nothing to stop," I said, changing the subject to Tommy's upcoming science fair. At home, the lies multiplied like cancer cells. I deleted text messages, cleared browser histories, invented elaborate stories about extended cardio sessions and nutrition consultations. "You look great, honey," David said one evening, actually looking up from his laptop. "The gym is really working for you." "Thanks," I managed, guilt burning in my throat like acid. He went back to his work, and I went back to my double life. Marcus and I grew bolder. We'd steal kisses in empty hallways, send each other photos that made my cheeks burn, plan elaborate fantasies about running away together. "Just leave him," Marcus whispered one afternoon as we lay in the yoga studio, surrounded by the scent of lavender and deception. "We could start over somewhere new, just you, me, and freedom." "It's not that simple. Tommy, kids adapt. He deserves a mother who's truly hap." Pie. I was so intoxicated by the fantasy, so drunk on feeling desired, that I never noticed the security cameras positioned throughout the gym. I never thought about digital footprints or credit card trails, or the fact that secrets, no matter how carefully guarded, always find a way to surface. The woman having the affair thought she was smarter than everyone else. The woman who would face the consequences was about to learn how wrong she was. "Sarah, we need to talk." David's voice cut through the morning like a blade. I looked up from the coffee maker to find him standing in the kitchen doorway, holding a manila envelope like it contained my death sentence. "What about?" I asked, but something in his expression made my blood freeze. He placed the envelope on the counter between us. 6 months, Marcus Thompson, Platinum Fitness. Each word hit me like a physical blow. My mouth went dry. "David, I can explain." "No need." His voice was terrifyingly calm. "I have everything. Gym security footage, credit card receipts, phone records, hotel charges. My private investigator was very thorough." The room started spinning. Private investigator? Rachel Kim recommended him. Best divorce attorney in the state, by the way. She's already filed the paperwork. I tried to reach for him, but he stepped back like I was contaminated. "David, please, let me explain. It meant nothing." "It meant nothing?" He laughed, but there was no humor in it. 6 months of lying to me, to our son, meant nothing? Meeting another man 3 times a week meant nothing? Dad? Mom? Why are you yelling? Tommy's voice floated down the stairs. David immediately softened his tone. Good morning, buddy. Go get ready for school. Mom and I are just having a grown-up conversation. The moment Tommy's footsteps faded, David turned back to me with renewed fury. You see that innocent boy? That's who you betrayed. Not just me. Him. David, every lie you told, every night you came home from another man's bed and kissed our son goodnight, you betrayed him too. The weight of what I'd done crashed down on me. I'm so sorry. I never meant for this to happen. You never meant to get caught, he corrected. There's a difference. Rachel says with the evidence we have, I'll get primary custody. Your affair, the deception, the fact that you brought another man into our family's orbit, it all works in my favor. You can't take Tommy away from me. Watch me. David picked up his briefcase. I've already moved into the downtown apartment. You have 30 days to figure out your next move. He paused at the door. Oh, and Sarah? Marcus got fired yesterday. Turns out the gym has a strict policy about trainers sleeping with married clients. Maria Santos finally decided she couldn't look the other way anymore. The door slammed, leaving me alone in the kitchen that suddenly felt like a crime scene. My perfect life wasn't just cracking, it was completely destroyed, and I had no one to blame but myself. I called Marcus with shaking hands. It went straight to voicemail. I tried again and again. Sarah, I can't talk right now. David knows everything. He has footage, Marcus. From the gym. You got fired? Silence stretched between us like a chasm. When he finally spoke, his voice was different, colder. Look, this is getting complicated. Maybe we should take a break until things cool down. A break? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Marcus, we talked about being together. You said you loved me. I said a lot of things. His tone was dismissive now, nothing like the passionate whispers I'd grown addicted to. But I never signed up for divorce court and custody battles. This is too messy for me. The line went dead. The man I'd destroyed my marriage for had just abandoned me without a second thought. Elena arrived within an hour of my frantic phone call. She took one look at my tear-streaked face and pulled me into her arms. Oh, honey, what did you do? Between sobs, I told her everything. The affair, the discovery, David's threats, Marcus's abandonment. Elena listened without judgment, but I could see the disappointment in her eyes. Sarah, I tried to warn you months ago. I could see something was wrong. I know, I'm so stupid. I threw away everything for someone who doesn't even want me now that things got complicated. What about Tommy? Elena asked gently. Have you told him anything? Fresh tears came. How do I tell my 8-year-old that Mommy broke up the family, that Daddy might not let him live with me anymore? Over the next few days, I tried desperately to reach Marcus. His phone was disconnected. His apartment was empty. Apparently he'd moved out overnight. It was like he'd never existed, except for the wreckage he'd left behind in my life. My lawyer's consultation was brutal. Mrs. Martinez, I'll be honest with you. With the evidence your husband has, and given that you're the one who had the affair, your chances of getting primary custody are slim. Tommy started asking questions I couldn't answer. Why doesn't Daddy live here anymore? Did I do something wrong? No, baby, you did nothing wrong. This is between Mommy and Daddy. But even as I said it, I knew I was lying again. Tommy was paying the price for my selfishness, and that knowledge was more devastating than losing David or being abandoned by Marcus. Your Honor, Rachel Kim said with professional precision, the evidence clearly shows a pattern of deception that lasted 6 months. Mrs. Martinez willfully engaged in adultery while maintaining a facade of marital commitment. I sat in the defendant's chair, watching my own betrayal projected on a large screen. There I was, kissing Marcus in the empty yoga studio, my hands tangled in his hair while my wedding ring caught the light. Seeing my infidelity broadcast for everyone to see was the most humiliating moment of my life. This demonstrates a fundamental lack of judgment that raises serious questions about her fitness as a custodial parent, Rachel continued. Judge Patricia Williams, a stern woman in her 50s, listened with an unreadable expression. David sat across the courtroom looking like a stranger. The man I'd been married to for 10 years wouldn't even make eye contact with me. During a break, I approached him in the hallway. "David, please, we don't have to destroy each other like this." He turned to face me, and for a moment, I saw a flash of the man I'd fallen in love with. But it was gone quickly. "You destroyed us, Sarah. I'm just protecting what's left. Tommy needs both of us. Tommy needs stability. He needs to trust the people who are supposed to protect him. You broke that trust." The worst part was that he was right. I had broken the trust of the two most important people in my life, and no amount of apologies could fix that. Elena testified as a character witness for me. "Sarah made a terrible mistake," she told the court, "but she's a good mother who loves her son. She deserves a chance to make this right." But when Maria Santos took the stand, any hope I had evaporated. "Mrs. Martinez and Mr. Thompson were reckless," she said. "They used our facilities for their affair, putting our business at risk. I should have reported it sooner, but I hoped it would end on its own." Judge Williams asked if I wanted to make a statement before she rendered her decision. I stood up, my legs shaking, and looked directly at David. "I know I don't deserve forgiveness. I know I broke something that can never be fixed. I'm not asking for mercy for myself. I'm asking for mercy for Tommy. He shouldn't lose his mother because of my mistakes." Judge Williams took a 15-minute recess. Those 15 minutes felt like 15 hours. I sat watching David's calm confidence and feeling my world crumble piece by piece. When the judge returned, her expression revealed nothing. "In the matter of Chen versus Martinez, I have reviewed all evidence and testimony presented. Mrs. Martinez, your actions over the past 6 months demonstrate a pattern of deception and poor judgment that cannot be overlooked." My heart stopped beating. However, I also recognize that marriage is complex and people make mistakes. The court's primary concern is the welfare of the minor child, Tommy Chen. She looked directly at me. "Mrs. Martinez, you will have supervised visitation every other weekend and 1 evening per week. Mr. Chen will have primary physical custody. This arrangement will be reviewed in 1 year, contingent on Mrs. Martinez completing court-ordered counseling and demonstrating stability." The gavel came down like a gunshot. David had won. I'd lost my son, my marriage, and my home because of 6 months of lies. "Sarah, this isn't the worst outcome," my lawyer whispered. "Supervised visitation could have been denied entirely." But it felt like the worst outcome to me. I watched David straighten his tie and collect his briefcase, already moving on with his life while mine lay in ruins. Outside the courthouse, Elena waited for me. She didn't say anything, just held me while I cried on the steps where other people's lives were being decided by strangers in robes. "What do I do now?" I asked her. "Now you rebuild," she said softly. "You take responsibility, you get help, and you prove you deserve a second chance." David walked past us without stopping, but he paused just long enough to say, "Tommy's counseling session is Thursday at 4. You're welcome to attend if you think it might help him understand why his family fell apart." The invitation was wrapped in accusation, but I grabbed onto it like a lifeline. "I'll be there." He nodded once and walked away, taking my old life with him. I stood on those courthouse steps, legally divorced, practically homeless, and completely alone. The woman who had walked into that building still believed she could manipulate her way out of consequences. The woman walking out finally understood that some choices can't be undone. "Mom, why did you and Dad get divorced?" Tommy asked during our supervised visit 6 months later. His innocent eyes searched my face for answers I wasn't sure I should give. I chose honesty, age-appropriately delivered. "I made some bad choices that hurt our family, sweetheart. Sometimes when grown-ups make really big mistakes, they have to live with consequences. Do you still love Dad?" The question hit me like a physical blow. "I'll always love your father, Tommy, but love isn't always enough to fix the things we break. Accepting responsibility without making excuses is the first step toward healing," Dr. Jennifer Walsh told me during our last session. "But rebuilding trust, with yourself and others, takes time." Marcus never tried to contact me after that last phone call. I heard through Jim gossip that he moved to another state, probably to start over with a clean slate, the luxury I was never given. But I've learned to be grateful for his abandonment. It forced me to face the truth about what our relationship really was, not love, but mutual using wrapped in romantic delusion. "Sarah, I need to tell you something," Elena said carefully during one of our coffee dates. "David's dating someone, Rachel Kim, his attorney." Honestly, I felt relieved. David deserves someone who won't betray him. I proved I couldn't be that person. The hardest part isn't losing David or even losing primary custody of Tommy. The hardest part is looking in the mirror every morning and seeing someone I don't recognize. The woman who cheated for 6 months feels like a stranger now, but I can't pretend she wasn't me. I made those choices. I told those lies. I destroyed my family for someone who disappeared the moment things got difficult. Tomorrow, I have another supervised visit with Tommy, and we're planning to go to the Science Museum. Small steps toward rebuilding something real. I still love David. I probably always will. But I've learned that love without respect, trust, and commitment is just another form of selfishness. I wasn't loving David when I was betraying him. I was loving the security he provided while I satisfied my ego with someone else. The woman who had an affair thought she could control the consequences of her choices. The woman writing this journal knows better. Some mistakes teach you who you really are, and some prices can never be paid in full. But maybe, if I'm very careful and very honest, I can earn back the right to be Tommy's mother. Maybe that's enough redemption for one lifetime.